next thing I want to do is I'm going to take my friendly roller, roll along, press it in. Try not to put so much pressure on it that you start moving the tape around. And just roll her up and down. A little light pressure, just kind of slide it along as you go. Don't put any pressure on the tape as you're sliding so that you knock it out of whack. And then sight down it and look for any runs that you may be producing. I think this video is going to go probably 2 or 3 10-minute segments, because it's really important that you watch me as I go along on each segment instead of a bunch of jump cuts. And then look for spots where you may have dripped going from where you parked where you're using it at. Okay. Now I got a beautiful seam. On the lines, everything's flat, everything's wetted out. I'm a happy camper. Some of these lighter spots that you may be seeing here is actually a depression in the fillet. You'll see in the fillet, the rough surface here, there is some little depression. So that's basically the epoxy going down and hiding out in those low spots. Okay, and just keep an eye on it as you let me come down here. Keep an eye on it. Is that my face? Yeah. Keep an eye on it as it cures to make certain that you know me, make certain. Be sure that it's hasn't lifted on you, where you have to come back after it's cured and cut it out and then redo it. Or if you don't re-glass that area, if you got an edge that lifts up, cut it out and then fare it in with some slow fare, quick fare, or something like that later on. If I have any, we'll go into techniques to do that. So I'm going to go ahead now and do a seam up here. I may videotape some more, I may not, so probably will. Okay, what the hell, might as well do some more. I'm going up on the second seam and putting the top coat of epoxy on the 2-inch. This bit where it's under tension, just put a big gob of, that's what I love about these toothbrushes. You can dip it in there and carry a lot of product to the job site without it dripping all over the place. Put lots of epoxy down underneath here. Give it something to press up against. Normally I wouldn't put my cup there, but it's in the middle of the seam and it's going to get epoxy in my scissors. I apologize again, I'm going to get a next hole when I do this. I'm going to have somebody come and operate the camera, but it's pretty simple. Just get the tape in and don't be afraid to put the epoxy down. Plenty underneath, plenty on top, and move it around. Make sure you don't go putting big gobs that are going to run down the inside of the hull. I'm starting to notice my shoulder muscles are starting to get tired. So if you have health problems, it's okay to do one seam at a time. It's like 2 mixes, ounce and a half each. Okay, time to bring in the 3-inch cloth. And it needs its end rolled too. We're still playing patty cake here. And if you're following a line, pick either the top one or the bottom one. Sometimes, depending on how the panels go together or how I mark them, they could be off. Or if the tape has expanded. It'll make it wider than the lines are. So if you pick one line, stick with it. This one I'm using the top line. You'll see that the padding in as I'm bringing it along too is keeping the tape in line by pressing and expanding those little bits that need it. I need some epoxy. Okay, we're going to do the transom. I got the other side all done, and I got the 2-inch tape down here, and I wetted it down, pushed it in, and at each one of these transitions I made a dart about, I guess 1/3 to half of the way through. So we'll just go ahead and wet it out. Put on a thick layer because we're going to be putting the 3-inch over the top of it. Try not to poke around on them on the cut edges, because then you'll just start rattling the glass tape out on the brush and get all these wisps going. Okay, I've got the seams done. I put a dart in here and then over on the other side at this seam. I was able to get it to weave through and twist, but here was too much of an angle. And I've got a couple spots here that are there's something in the cloth. I don't know whether it's leftover stickum from some masking tape or something, but I've got a couple spots where the 3-inch tape doesn't want to set down, so usually that's an indication of a contamination in the glass, that it kind of like a repulsive kind of thing. So.